Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back. This is Daily Trade Analysis with a quick market update for today, Monday, May 13th. Today, we don't have any big important data on the economic side. The only thing that came out that it looks interesting is the consumer inflation expectations that came in higher than expected, from the 3% to the 3.3%. And it's because basically the consumer is more and more thinking about higher pricing, higher housing pricing, higher labor, higher wages, higher everything. So their expectations for inflation is longer, higher for longer. And Feds are still talking, but today I think it's just a no news Monday ahead of tomorrow's PPI and also Wednesday's CPI. So if you didn't trade today, it's okay, all is fine, because today is just a day to really see how the sentiment is going and really exercise patience ahead of tomorrow's PPI and Wednesday's CPI. There will be plenty of opportunities, and because of that, today is just a day in which we have to analyze what happened in the markets. We didn't move too much, but there are certain things that I would really like to tackle. The first thing is that during the overnight, we building longs and longs and longs and longs. And when you are so long in the overnight, the typical move is just to pull back, to conciliate, and to basically manipulate those longs into liquidations. This may sound strange for you, but this is happening a lot of times. Look at Friday. Higher, higher, higher into the open, and then the big sell-off. This happens a lot, and that's why when we are so extended in the overnight with all these longs accumulated, the first thing that you want to see is just if you can get a good entry. Your best opportunity in terms of risk-reward ratio is just to take some shorts. And that's what I did. It was not super spectacular. I usually don't take shorts, and not even in pre-market. Imagine in the open. So in the open, I was just basically looking for this pivot. This sell liquidity from this entry into the fair value gap was just pretty decent. And this candle made me the first entry here. The stop is above the inverse fair value gap, and the target was this sell side liquidity. 1.47 risk reward ratio is not super big. Risking 20 points to do almost 30, it's not an incredible trade, but it was just a pretty decent setup. And apart from that, there was nothing and nothing and nothing. This was the sell-off and then the big reversal because OpenAI just announced that they are building a new model on ChatGPT and also releasing ChatGPT for desktop. So this was the news, and basically it's just down, up, and we continue chopping. This is a typical day ahead of big news. This is a day in which you can scalp some things like I did. But overall, on the 30-minute chart, we can see that we are inside the range of Fridays. And that's the most important thing. We are right here in the upper part of the range, but just from all these longs, we just liquidated some of them and we are just ranging. And that's exactly what it looks like ahead of big important news. This is a pretty bullish candle. It's just because OpenAI news, but I think levels are holding. We are doing a pretty decent job to just hold the settlement from yesterday. This is the settlement level at 18,255. 1, 2, 3 times we've been holding that. And I think tomorrow's CPI is going to be, if we don't get a big surprise to either side, we are just going to, I think we are going to try to reach 350 last week high. In terms of dollar, we can see that dollar is weakening. We rejected the 220 daily moving average and this zone, this area that the dollar had to do something there and it rejected. So good news, because I think dollar may have some more potential to the downside. Yields are both in the red, the 2-year yield, the 10-year yield. Treasuries are in the red. High yield corporate bonds are a little bit higher, but still waiting for tomorrow. Small caps were pretty damn bullish today, but look at this. Consumer sentiment really affected the sentiment of the small caps. And that coupled with the fact that look at all these banks in the red. Banks are pretty damn in the red, and I think that's what's affecting the Russell 2000. And also XLF, it's 0.20, just giving up a lot of those gains. And if we see the gold, it's also in the red. Copper is skyrocketing. Crude oil is in the green. So I think today is just good news because Nasdaq is holding levels and dollar and yields are in the red. But we have copper skyrocketing, we have crude oil skyrocketing. All these are inflationary pressures. And that coupled with the fact that the financials are quite in the red. Look at this Bank of California down 8%. So financials really getting pressured. And today is just chop and chop range day, but chop and more chop. The good news, the good movement, the volatility, and the data will come out tomorrow and after tomorrow. So until then, our best opportunity is just wait for tomorrow. And that's all. If you scalp something, either red or green, I think my recommendation would be to throw the towel and wait for better opportunities once the data comes out. And I think that's all from my side. As always, thank you for your time. If you found this video useful, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, because I upload videos like this one every single day for market forecasts, market updates, and market recaps. I appreciate your time as always. Remember that the trading days is not over. Today is not worth, in my opinion, and I will wait for tomorrow and after tomorrow for PPI and CPI, and there will be plenty of opportunities. So be patient, be disciplined, manage your risk, and stay safe, everyone. See you tomorrow.